Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Fight Net Radio. My name is Lee Honish. I'm joined by Andrew Lapachet and Miguel Antonio Barragan. This is the first of its kind, and I'm sure all of you boxing fans probably already know this. AI is taking over. AI is generating your stories. Chatbots are responding to you. I thought it would be fun to do an AI episode. So I will be the conduit because I'm not going to pay for the upgraded AI that actually talks and does all that crap. That's for just a joke. It's way too expensive. But the AI did write an introduction for us. If you're looking for a good laugh, then look no further than Fight Net Radio, a collection of funny boxing jokes and quotes. This collection of humorous jokes and quotes is sure to put a smile on your face. Whether you're a fan of the sport or just looking for some lighthearted fun, this show will have something to tickle your funny bone. From classic one-liners to more elaborate puns, you'll find plenty of material to keep you entertained. So if you're in the mood for a good giggle, look no further than Fight Net Radio. Get ready to laugh as you enjoy some of the best boxing jokes and quotes out there. Andrew, how do you respond to our AI right out of the gate?
Sounded good. I'm interested to see what happens.
I've already asked it a few of the first questions from the stories, so we will see how it goes. Miguel, what are your impressions of AI, since now all we really do online when we, and I stress this to anybody, if you don't see a name underneath that article, guess what? AI probably wrote it.
The intro seemed a little too clean for my liking. I like it a little bit more raunchier, but I mean, it's a good start. We can start, what's the word? Contaminating it here shortly.
AI doesn't really go that route, which is kind of ridiculous to me in a strange way. They don't allow me to dirty it up. Although we're going to actually have the chat API bot where I can ask it questions about each of our stories. We can certainly ask its feelings about the size of the breast on eBay.
I see.
Sorry, Ebony. Good. All right, let's jump right into it. Let's do our stories. We do have some bonus material if we run through this too fast. There is a chat box that will determine your boxer name based on a series of questions. So if we tear through these stories too fast, you've got that to look forward to. Maybe bonus content during the week. As always, go to our website at Fight Net Radio, all one word, Fight Net Radio. That's where you can find us. I post daily, multiple times. It is the largest social media page for boxing out there right now. We crank out content with the best of them, and I do it without creating fake banners about fake fights that don't happen. I wanted to start off quickly with a story that's not covered because it's just, there's no doing it justice in an odd way, which is 2 weeks ago, Oscar swore that if he didn't have a contract by Monday, he was going to not have Gervonta Davis fight Ryan Garcia. Then by midweek, he showed up with a contract. Here we are now into week number 2 of the "it was going to die a couple of weeks ago" comment. And now he actually said on Monday that he guarantees that the fight's going to happen. We're just working out some of the details. I could be completely wrong. I don't need to ask the chat bot on this one, Miguel. Sounds a lot like we don't have a fight signed yet.
That sure does. That sounds like buy me a little bit more time before we get the fight signed, if we get the fight signed at all. So it sounds like stalling tactics, in my opinion.
Andrew, your feelings on this massive pile of poo?
Definitely a stalling tactic, but one good sign is everybody's still talking about this fight is close to being signed. It was even on ESPN. Well, no, Lee, I mean, that's good. You don't see them doing that about Spence and Crawford. Okay, so
no, they've given up on it. There was an actual article that I passed on that somebody was trying to sell. Fans are over it.
Well, and they should be. They should be over the PBC. They should be over Al Heyman. Seriously, any of you Al Heyman believers, there shouldn't be one of you guys left in this fucking boxing world. But for this fight, look, all I can say is at least, they're still talking about it. And Oscar said that the contract was sent back with a few changes, nothing that should hold this fight from getting done. So that's all we have right now.
So I asked the AI what it thought. Will Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia fight? I don't have any specific information on the scheduling of a fight between Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. As of my knowledge, cuts off at 2021. However, fights in the boxing world can be announced and scheduled well in advance. So it's possible that this fight could happen in the future if both fighters are available and willing to participate. Wow. Chat AI, you know what? Chat AI could be the next boxing promoter. I mean, these are better quotes than half of the people in boxing.
Yeah, you never know.
Can you imagine all this time we've been quoting Bob, and it's really everybody sitting around in the room going, what should Bob say in this situation? I know, let's ask Chat API. How do you feel about blah, blah, blah? And it gives these very nice political answers. I'm starting to see a trend here. It's hilarious. All right, that's it. And that's your update. By the way, hashtag fight not signed. Let's jump into our first story. Our first story comes from Big Bob himself. He will be joining us on the show to read his own quotes. Bob Arum states he's hopeful. Miguel, get out our thesaurus. Okay. The first thing I asked Chat API was, what does Bob Arum mean when he means he's hopeful that a fight will happen? And this is what our AI said. Being hopeful means he's having a positive attitude or expectation that is desired of an outcome will occur. So when Bob Arum says he is hopeful, it means that he has a positive expectation or belief that something will happen, although there may be uncertainty or obstacles involved. The specific subject of what Bob Arum is hopeful about can only be determined through additional context or information. I'm really digging AI. AI might be a part of our show forever. This could maybe translate every promoter on the planet. I should just grab headlines and stick them in. Well, joining us on the show to read his quotes is the man himself, Top Rank Bob. Top Rank Bob, you haven't been on? Happy New Year. It's a new year. So you're replacing me with AI now, huh? I don't even know what that stands for. What's that mean? Athletes. Index finger, get it? Yeah, all right. Listen, this fight depends on Josh's foot, but I'm hopeful. Just like the computer thing said, right? I have a positive expectation, but there are certainly obstacles, like his fucking foot. I start with you, Miguel. This is turning out way better than even I had anticipated this show. And it could be the fact that I'm drinking Death Wish cold brew. Miguel, am I going to see this fight, or should I just move on if I'm Catterall or Taylor?
No, I'm pretty sure we're going to see this fight. I mean, I think everything on Bob's and Taylor's side is pretty much that. I think it's Catterall with like Matchroom or something. I'm not sure if he's with Bob as well, but yeah, I mean, we made the fight once before, so I don't see why it can't happen again. It's just these obstacles, as the AI would like to mention, with Catterall's foot and whatnot. But I'm sure once they get over that, they'll definitely get a date going. I mean, they did it once. I don't see why they can't do it again.
Is this episode turning out better than I think it is, Andrew?
Yes, it is. Look, if I was Catterall, I would want Josh Taylor to move on. The guy's the number one fighter in the division after taking a defeat from Josh Taylor. Controversial, but still took a defeat. He's ranked number one right now. His next fight's going to be a big payday for him anyways. So if I was him, Josh Taylor and them, they've set 2 dates for this thing. This is the 3rd date they're about to set for this rematch. He can move on and Catterall can milk this number one position and then get a fight down the line. And I would say that's one thing AI is missing there is the language for boxing is different than what it's probably programmed to know. Hopeful means the next fight, or hopeful means 5 years down the line. That's what hopeful means when a promoter says he's hopeful a fight can get made. So if I'm Catterall, I am not holding my breath anymore. This fight, as the media will try to act like this thing is still hot by putting Catterall number one. Josh Taylor has a lot of other big fights out there he can take. He does not need Catterall. He does not need the number one ranking in the ESPN or whoever the fuck has Catterall number one right now. He doesn't need any of that. He's the ticket seller. He's the guy that brings the fans in. He can go anywhere in Top Rank and make $1 million.
I just asked the computer, who is Lee Honish in boxing? I'm sorry, but I still don't have any information on a person named Lee Honish in the context of boxing. It is possible that this person is not well-known figure in the sport, or has made enough of a significant impact in it.
Jeez.
I am loving our AI reporter. God, he's ready to work at Boxing Scene. Shout out to Boxing Scene, home of AI. Our next story up, Jared Hurd. I'm in a new weight class looking to dominate at 154. The reason I bring this story up, and I'm going to ask our chat bot about it as well. I'll start with you, Andrew. When's the last time this guy fought? Last time I checked, he hasn't really beaten anybody in his weight class. Like, he has one notable win, but never held it all the way up.
Yeah, yes, that's about all you got with Jared Hurd. He is a big junior middleweight, so it's not surprising that he's moving to 160. But no, he was never dominating any part of that class. None of them actually did. Jermell is the only one that has come out of there with all the titles, but there's still opponents he never faced. And one, Lara, and the other one, Munguia, he never cleared out the division. For whatever excuse that they had, that division has never been cleared by anybody.
Miguel.
Well, we'll start first with the first part of that question. When was the last time he's fought? June 2021. So
right.
We're headed, we're well over a year.
Right.
Well,
Almost a
year and a half here. So, I mean, well, I should say like a little more now. We're 2023. So, yeah. And I was a fan of this guy. I really was. Like, for a while, it seemed like he was going to do something in the PBC. That's when I was a little more hopeful of the PBC guys. He ran into J-Rock, and that didn't go very well, and then recently got upset in his last fight. So he seems to be not having much success now at 154, losing 2 of his last 3. So the move up to 160 was most likely coming. You can tell that he has these like lulls in his fights because he does tend to run out of gas. So maybe dropping down to 154 was detrimental to his his, I guess, conditioning. So moving up to 160, great. Let's see it. But again, now knowing now what we know as much about PBC as we do now, it doesn't seem like he's going to be going for the big names at 160 anyway. So, good for him. Glad that he's not deteriorating his body any further to drop down to 154. Whether or not he'd make any waves at 160 is another conversation altogether. But I'm looking forward to seeing him. Let's see what PBC can do at 160 with this guy.
Well, let's ask our news. Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, Miguel, you would just have to look at who the PBC owns at 160 to find out who Jared Hurd was fighting. You're absolutely right. He ain't fighting anyone.
We'll wrap this story up with our newest reporter, AI. AI, what do you think? Jared Hurd is a professional boxer who has competed at the super welterweight and middleweight division. By saying, I'm in a new weight class, looking to dominate like I did at 154, it seems that Hurd has recently moved up to a higher weight class and is confident in his ability to perform well and be successful in his new division, similar to his success at previous weight class of 154. However, it's worth noting that each weight class in boxing presents its own challenges and competition. So it remains to be seen how Hurd will perform in the new weight class. I am digging our new.
See, that's the thing though. AI doesn't know about PBC. It needs to get on this PBC because there won't be any challenges at 160 if they fucking fight only in-house fights.
We found where DAZN's been getting all of its information from.
Chat AI. Oh my God, this might be the greatest thing ever. How long till this gets ripped off from us? Oh, well. Just another thing to steal from Fight Net Radio. You reporters jump right on it and have fun with it. The WBC president expects Beterbiev to face Callum Smith next, not Bivol. I'm copying the headline to ask our reporter. As I recall from this story, the WBC is not going to recognize Bivol because he's from Russia. Am I correct on that, Miguel?
Oh shit! Is that what?
Yeah, no, that's what this is all about. This is literally all about being from Russia. He's still in Russia.
He's they're still
Yeah,
undefeated.
here.
Good lord.
Bivol has not approached the WBC, Suleiman told reporters. At our last convention, we were very clear about our position in relationship to 2 fighters from Russia and Belarus. And that is the case with Bivol.
What a fucking joke. Well, Suleiman's own country is fucking having its own problems. How dare he point the finger like he lives in a higher standard place? What a fucking joke, man. You talk about corruption, motherfucker. Look at your own office and your own fucking country. Seriously. The fuck? You guys arrested kingpins and got choppers in the air shooting at fucking cops and cities. Like, what? Oh, Russia, they're really bad though over there. Fuck out of here. This guy.
Miguel?
I mean, yeah, this is BS. You know, this. I guess he can't be called a world champion. It's like world minus Russia and fucking Belarus, I guess. But we knew we knew this fight wasn't going to happen immediately, right? We pretty much knew that that Bivol was going to fight what's his name, Canelo anyway. First, this is what I thought initially was the issue with this fucking was I guess the topic of this article. But wow, this is damn. I mean, I don't know. Can you get any more fucking prejudice? Jesus.
Yeah, no,
Well,
this is protecting Canelo. If this is about him Canelo not getting them not getting that rematch, they found a way to hide Canelo's ego, right? They don't want Canelo to come out and say he doesn't want to move up, which is a great move. I'm not knocking him. He shouldn't go back to light heavyweight. But this has to be a fucking what is the word? This has to be to protect Saul Alvarez from that fight. If he's not going to let Bivol fight for the WBC title or fight, I'm guessing Canelo's not going to fight him. Am I correct on this?
What fight? Who? Bivol or who?
Bivol, yes, of course. It was supposed to be a rematch in May.
As I know, I haven't heard anything, but that is supposed to be the next plan. It's let
yeah,
Bivol
the story
fight
currently
Bivol,
is Canelo won't come off of September, and they were trying to squeeze in Bivol before Canelo.
Right, because he had some sort of surgery on his hand or something, but supposedly there was still enough time for May. But the way Eddie Hearn made it sound, well, I mean, mind you, Eddie Hearn is not necessarily in the mix there. He's not part of Canelo, but I think he did say that he had spoken to Canelo at the time, and this was like a few months ago already, and that Canelo is looking forward towards September, and he's going to skip the May fight. So what's going to happen with Bivol in the meantime, I don't know.
You know, that's not good if Canelo holds the boxing world from Beterbiev versus Bivol for another year. Look, Beterbiev's already, 35 years old? Didn't look so great in his last fight. Like, can we get these fights while they're hot? Canelo's not the hot shit anymore. And I'm sorry, his pay-per-view numbers don't even reflect that he's the hot shit in boxing anymore. The guy's, he has 2 losses and his own fan base doubting him. Let's move past his ass already. The biggest fight in the light heavyweight division. You want to bring some fireworks back to just the diehard boxing fans. Fuck the casuals right now. You make Beterbiev versus Bivol. It's the better fight.
Well,
Andrew, will we agree? Even though, like you're saying that like Canelo is not the shit in boxing as everybody's making him out to be, would he be the closest thing to it? Because I mean, who else besides him? Like, and we're talking about casuals in this case, obviously, because they're the ones that do also tune in, that increase those pay-per-view numbers. If it's just for the hardcore, well then yeah, I would much rather see Beterbiev and Bivol. But I mean, besides that, is there another guy that's higher than Canelo?
I could almost guarantee you Tyson Fury has passed Canelo as far as being the face of boxing. Everyone knows around the world. And I can guarantee you, if Tank Davis and Garcia get signed, it does better numbers than Canelo versus Bivol, the rematch. Not the first fight, but the rematch. So yeah, I think Canelo has fallen off here. He was barely that guy. We all got to remember, Canelo has always been barely that guy. Boxing don't like fighters that take losses, especially the loss that he took to Floyd Mayweather. He was a paper champ considered. I've always backed him, but he was considered a paper champ going into the Mayweather fight. He loses the Mayweather fight. He goes on this European tour fighting a bunch of white guys that the boxing casuals do not know. All of the Mayweather fans did not know who the fuck Canelo was fighting when he started doing all of this. So yeah, he was always barely that guy. I don't think he is the face of boxing anymore. No, sir.
Well, what's important is let's hear from our safe and sane newest reporter, AI. AI, what do you think of this headline? It appears that the president of the World Boxing Council expects that fighter Artur Beterbiev to face Callum Smith in his next fight rather than Dmitry Bivol. The reason stated is that Bivol is from Russia. In boxing, the scheduling and the selection of opponents is often influenced by a variety of factors, including ranking, promotional consideration, and contractual agreements. So while the WBC president may expect Beterbiev to face Smith, the final decision on who a fighter will fight next may be influenced by a variety of factors and may not necessarily align with the WBC president's expectations. I'm telling you, Chat AI is going to be the best promoter in boxing ever. All right, Abel Sanchez on Golovkin-Munguia showdown. This is picking up, even though we have heard Dick Diddley squat out of the Golovkin group whatsoever. Let's see what Abel had to say. Now, Oscar's talked about this fight. Munguia's camp has dropped some stories online about this fight. Let's see what Abel Sanchez has to say. Stay away from Triple G.
Oh, geez. Okay.
The only one that can give Triple G any kind of trouble is Canelo right now. Stay away from Triple G. He doesn't need that kind of beating. Golovkin will beat him like he stole something. Wow. I'll start with you, Miguel. First of all, why is Abel Sanchez so high on a fight that as far as I know, there's not even a contract?
No, I mean,
or discussion.
Or discussion, really. Like
it's really running around the internet. Like this is a thing that they're selling.
Wow. Well, this is news to me because I mean, like last I remember, what's the name? Oscar was basically trying to call out Charlo to try to get a fight with Charlo and Munguia, and I don't remember him even mentioning fucking Golovkin, so I'm not sure where this is coming from. But nonetheless, I definitely don't agree with Abel Sanchez here. And is Abel back with fucking Golovkin? What the hell? Because he's like backing him up like he's his guy again. But I don't think. I mean, I think he's wrong here. I think fucking Munguia should get in there with Golovkin and see where the hell he's at this point. I mean, the fact that we haven't thrown Munguia into the deep end yet is bad enough. Who better than to do it than with a guy who's on the way out? Who's the old lion on the way out in Golovkin. So why not make a name off of yourself? Whooping his ass on the way out. But I mean, if it doesn't turn out that way, so be it. We know where Munguia would stand at that point. But yeah, I haven't heard shit about this fight. I was totally expecting that we're going to be talking about Munguia and Charlo in the near future, not this one.
Andrew, your feelings on Abel Sanchez?
Look, he's not lying. Triple G, Munguia takes a lot of punches. Triple G is one of the hardest punchers, and it was one of the hardest punchers in the sport. It's the last thing that leaves, so the power will be there. It's an excellent fight if it is made. There should be no reason why it can't be. Triple G really doesn't have an opponent that will make him as much money as Munguia. Munguia has a strong fan base. He has De La Hoya behind him. The reason why I don't think they've pushed heavy for the Munguia Triple G fight was he was never in the position to beat Triple G. So being a smart promotional company, they kept him away until obviously Triple G had his fights with Canelo. He's old as fuck now. Now you go in there and you try to take him out, sort of like how boxing, that's what boxing used to be, right? This is what happens to older fighters that stay in the game too long. Now Munguia has the best chance of beating him is today. So yeah, they've worked together. Triple G's worked with Oscar many times. I don't see a reason why this fight can't get made. I believe it was always De La Hoya protecting Munguia from Triple G, knowing damn well he was never in a position to beat him.
AI, your feelings? It appears that Abel Sanchez is making a prediction about an outcome of a fight between Gennady Golovkin and Jaime Munguia. By saying Golovkin will beat him like he stole something, Sanchez is expressing confidence in Golovkin's ability to defeat Munguia and suggests that the outcome will be one-sided in favor of Golovkin. It's worth noting that in boxing, predictions and forecasts are often made based on fighter performances, skill sets, and styles, but the outcome of any fight can be unpredictable and influenced by a variety of factors, including the fighter's preparation, tactics, and in-ring performance on the day of the fight. I'm really starting to dig our politically correct AI advisor. So let's see what it thinks about this dude. So Berlanga shares his ideal 3-fight plan. By the way, he is now talking to PBC, Eddie Hearn, and Oscar De La Hoya. Has not signed with any of them. That came out later in the week. But let's see. He wants to fight O'Sullivan, Munguia, and/or Canelo. I'll start with you, Andrew. This dude's delusional. Bob wanted to bring him up slowly, and this guy wants to jump in. I don't think O'Sullivan's jumping into the deep end, but going Munguia, Canelo, I'm not even sure that that's a qualified leap.
Well, and he's talking to the wrong people for the Canelo fight. If he's talking to De La Hoya and them, because O'Sullivan and Munguia, I believe, has ties to Golden Boy. Canelo does not, but maybe that's why he's with Eddie Hearn too. Look, yes, I agree with you. He's not ready. He's going to learn this real fast. But O'Sullivan, Munguia, I like those 2 fights for him. Berlanga can really grow in the next 2 fights if he takes it serious and comes out still undefeated. Then we're looking like, about a year down the line for his first title defense or so. And he should be, full blown in his prime at that point. It's not like he's a rookie. Berlanga is not a rookie. I think Top Rank was going to pull the plug on him anyways and get him a championship fight here soon. He was already a headliner. He has all the bells and whistles to say that Top Rank was ready to push him into a championship spot. For whatever reason, they fell through. He didn't want to work with them anymore. I heard he wants to do an OnlyFans page so people can interact and watch him train. We'll see how that goes for him as far as the self-promoting. I still like it. I'm, old school. I would still like the best promotional company in the sport to be behind me to advertise all that. But, the kid thinks he can do better on his own. We'll see. If I'm De La Hoya, if I'm Eddie Hearn, all of them are interested in this guy because, like you said, Lee, that he's not any of their fighters. He's not in any of their stables, so they would be using him as a stepping stone. I mean, a Munguia versus Berlanga match, to me, that's interesting. You have, we stick with Bob Arum, the Puerto Rican Mexican showdown there. 2 undefeated fighters there, 2 known names, from one coming from ESPN, one coming from Golden Boy. This fight is big. So I definitely would be interested if that fight got made.
Miguel.
I think you should probably forget about Canelo at this point and throw someone else in there. I mean, really, like I suspect that his attitude is probably one of the reasons why he parted ways with fucking Top Rank. In addition to him not looking so great in some of his most recent fights, even getting knocked down. I'm not sure if he got knocked down more than once, but I remember one particular time he was dropped. So after that, he ended up biting a motherfucker in the ring, the fight that he was winning, and Right, and he got fucking suspended and whatnot. So I think, I'm just gonna say top rank Bob. No, Bob thought was like, okay, fuck this. Yeah, this kid's we can't discipline this motherfucker, and he's not playing by the rules. So fuck his ass. Right? And I'm sure maybe I suspect maybe at some point they tried to bring this to his attention. It's like, man, come on, don't fucking tell me what to do. There was already some sort of heat there, and in irreconcilable differences, we'll say, and they're gonna split up. So I see where where Berlanga is going at with this, trying to play the field, trying to play the free agency, I guess we can call it, and see where he can land. Some of these fights seem pretty reasonable, right? O'Sullivan and Munguia, he completely forget about fucking Canelo at this point. Maybe even a Triple G for all we fucking know, right? And keep in mind, this dude, he's at 168. So if he fights any one of these guys, chances are they're going to have to go up. I'm not sure if he'd go down to 160 to fight somebody like Munguia. Munguia has fought higher before, so I'm sure he's more than willing to do the same. He's not exactly ripped at that weight division, so, and he's young, so I'm sure he can make 160 if needed, but I don't think he will. He'll most likely stay at 168. And he's a heavy hitter. Dude fucking throws, so a fight with him and Munguia would be exciting as shit because realistically, they're both vulnerable as hell. They both get hit. They're there to be hit, and they both swing for the fences damn near every fucking time. So that would be a very entertaining fight. Same with Sullivan. Only O'Sullivan doesn't exactly have the pop, but nonetheless, that it's a nice plan. I like where he's going with those first 2 ones. Completely forget about Canelo, bro. Go with somebody else. Add Triple G. Add fucking Charlo. Call out all the dudes at 160, but leave Canelo alone.
Well, AI, what do you think? it appears that a boxer named Berlanga has shared his ideal plan for a 3-fight schedule. He mentioned 2 potential opponents in either Ryder or O'Sullivan, followed by Jaime Munguia, and then ending with Canelo Alvarez. In boxing, fighters often have planned schedules of opponents they would like to face, but this can be influenced by a variety of factors, including promotional considerations, contractual agreements, and the outcomes of previous fights. So while Berlanga may have a specific 3-fight plan in mind, the actual schedule of opponents he faces may differ based on these and other factors. Wow. It's nice having a politically correct reporter on the scene.
We should start asking them like how to translate like some of Deontay Wilder's quotes.
We could probably do an entire episode on that. And here you go, Andrew. De La Hoya says his top goal for 2023 is to make a Golovkin-Munguia fight. Right here. Let's see what the Golden Snowboy has to say. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Let's see what Oscar. Listen, bro, that's a big possibility, right? Right? Munguia and Triple G, totally, right? Like that's the fight we all want, right? Totally. I think that both guys can prove themselves in that way. I think the fight would be perfect. I think that the fight to make, I think that's the fight to make. We've already reached out to Triple G's people. I strongly feel that Jaime Munguia is ready for anybody, bro. Listen, so that's my goal for 2023. Not the Gervonta Davis fight with Ryan Garcia. It's this, bro. But first, I want him to fight Triple G before he fights anybody else. Andrew?
Oh, Lee, I mean, I don't know why you're blaming Oscar for the Tank Davis-Ryan Garcia fight not being signed. You're pointing your finger at the wrong guy there. There's only one man that's been.
No. I completely agree. But it's Oscar that's making all the social media noise. The fight's around the corner. The fight's on the roof. The fight jumped off the roof. The fight broke its leg.
You can't blame him. You know who's holding that fight up. You absolutely know. So don't say it's Oscar. It's not. As a matter of fact, who has his fighters in better positions right now than Ryan Garcia? And it sounds like Jaime Munguia is going to get a big fight here in 2023. Okay? This is off a promoter who got Gilberto Ramirez fucking B-ball last year. Now, did Ramirez win? Fuck no, he didn't win. Is that Oscar's fault? Fuck no, it's not his fault. But who's getting the fights? And just hold off on your hate for Oscar De La Hoya, bro. He's the only one keeping our fucking sport intact right now, at least trying to get his fighters some fights. Fuck, we just talked about Top Rank. How many fucking pauses have they had on Josh Taylor since his fight with Catterall? He was a star. What, we're on our 3rd date now of being postponed? How much bullshit has Tyson Fury given us? Like, and then they lose Berlanga. Like, hold off on your hate for De La Hoya. He seems to be the only one trying to get shit done right now.
Okay. Jeez, he put me in my place.
No, it's fuck because I get mad. It's fucking Tank Davis. We need to keep reeling him. We need to keep reeling fucking Spence, and we need to keep going after Al Heyman. Those are the enemies of the sport right now. They are the ones that are trying to rob the bank. These guys aren't here for legacy. I'm telling you right now, Tank Davis is 5 inches shorter than Ryan Garcia, and he's fucking got like 3 inches shorter on the arms. This guy is going to look tiny when he gets in the ring with Ryan Garcia. They're going to be begging his fucking power hits Garcia and he drops him. Because if it doesn't, the haters are going to be, bro, why was he 5 inches taller than him? I didn't know that. That's all you're going to fucking hear. And Davis and them know it too. That's why they're keeping his little ass on the sidelines. Mayweather been protecting him from the very beginning. 5'5". Get the fuck out of here, 5'5".
Bam, 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 bam. This mic drop moment was brought to you by artificial intelligence and coffee.
Prove me wrong, Davis. Sign the fucking fight. Go knock him out. But to me, you look like a little boy trying to play a big man's game. Ryan Garcia is a big man at junior welterweight. You're going to be looking up all night. You better hope that power lands.
Is there anything you'd like to add, Miguel? I don't want to set him off.
Like we said earlier, this was kind of a shock. Like I thought, I thought De La Hoya was trying to set up something with Munguia and fucking Charlo, calling him out. And in regards to what you were saying earlier, Lee, about De La Hoya being pretty much the one on the fucking media, most of the time. He is a promoter, so what the fuck is he gonna do? And of course, he's gonna be.
And he does get
out there
drunk and
talking about-
text a
and
lot.
just
He
There you go.
does.
So we're going to see him. Basically, he's going to be the loudest one, whether or not what he says is accurate as in the story. But the bottom line is, of course, it's going to be the loudest one because the dude's a promoter, and that's what he's going to do now. So that makes sense that he is the one that people look to whenever fights that that he's involved in or his fighters involved in don't necessarily get made. Of course, he's going to be there because we obviously aren't going to see fucking Heyman anywhere because that dude, we're not even sure if he really exists at this point. But yeah, this is kind of surprising to me. I'm liking it though. Like I said, we mentioned it earlier. We've even thrown this fight, as possibility in past shows, like well over a year now. So I'm down to make this fight happen. Hopefully it happens, and that's something they can make in, I don't know, maybe like in New York or something around the MSG or something along those lines. But hey, if this is, this one seems to be a lot easier to make than some of the other ones, right? Charlo and Munguia, or for fuck's sake, I guess Golden Boy fighter and any PBC fighter, really, those are the ones that are going to be the obstacles. This one doesn't seem like it's going to go that route. It seems like it'll be a little bit easier to make. And I mean, to steal a quote from Bob Arum, I'm hopeful that this happens.
Well, let's ask. Go ahead, Andrew.
You can also say it was Canelo that was holding up Munguia versus Triple G at middleweight. Triple G was not going to let go of that check. He had it in a contract with Eddie Hearn that he was going to get that fight, and I believe he held out until he got his damn fight. So there's also that side of this fight too, of not being signed. Yes, De La Hoya was still probably protecting Munguia. I'm 100% confident in saying that because I don't feel Munguia ever had the shot at beating Triple G. He takes way too many punches. But with that being said, this could have been last year where they wanted to do this fight. I want to say Munguia started going after him last year, and for some reason the fight never gets made, and that's because Triple G was probably waiting for his third fight with Canelo. So now the fight makes sense. Triple G's done making his money. Munguia's here ready to take the throne from him. We think that's what De La Hoya is setting it up for. You want to be the man at 160? You go and beat Triple G, you take it, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, so it looks like it's the perfect time for this fight to get made now.
AI, do you have any insight on this for us? It appears that Oscar De La Hoya, a former professional boxer and current promoter, has stated that his top goal for 2023 is to make a fight between Gennady Golovkin and Jaime Munguia. This suggests that De La Hoya is eager to arrange and promote a match between these two fighters in the coming year. In the world of boxing, fight promotions and matchmaking are highly competitive, and scheduling of fights is influenced by a variety of factors, including fighter schedules, promotional you're repeating yourself, AI, promotional consideration, and contractual agreements. While De La Hoya may have stated that making the Golovkin versus Munguia fight is his top priority for 2023, the actual outcome may be influenced by these and other factors.
Hey, AI, your AI is showing.
My AI is starting to show, definitely. Let's move forward. Let's talk about David Benavidez and Caleb Plant press conference, which I watched. And the only reason I bring it up, and I'm sorry I don't have anything for you other than maybe asking who Caleb Plant is and seeing if AI actually knows. My favorite part was Steven Espinosa by far. Yeah, they talk shit. I totally get it, right? First it was Caleb, then Benavidez started talking shit, and then Caleb played the, I'm a victim, and all this guy does is talk shit. Although Caleb was the first one to talk shit, historically, we can actually pull the articles on that. My favorite moment of this press conference, and I highly recommend everybody to go see it, was Steven Espinosa selling the pay-per-view with the following statement: I don't need to sell this fight. This fight sells itself. To which I would like to respond, dude, crack is whack. I mean, that is just a fucking crazy ass statement. You're trying to tell me the casuals know David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. You are out of your mind. Like, you're just making it like Ali's fighting Frazier. I mean, what are you talking about, dude? His lack of insight into how boxing works. And I watch him on Twitter and social media. I watch his quotes during fight nights. I'm all over Steven Espinosa at this point. And again, I'm making a push. Paramount, when that deal's finalized, fire this dumb son of a bitch and go find the people over at HBO who probably need a job. This dude's insane, Andrew.
Yeah, no, look, I thought he had opened that email up when he made his speech for this fight. He was like, "Oh, we just got swallowed in by Paramount. We're done." So yeah, not selling this fight anymore. Go fuck yourselves. Yeah, just got a fucking email that I'm gonna be in the unemployment line here soon. So
no, he's probably saying like, all right, I got the emails saying how much my severance package is gonna be, so I'm Gucci for a little bit.
I'm good. I can say stupid shit at a press conference.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Miguel, am I wrong in thinking that he is just completely out of touch?
So here's the thing. I don't see the fan base behind Plant, the PBC fan base, the way it is behind Spence and then fucking, anybody else for that matter, Wilder, Thurman, any one of those guys. Because those guys, PBC fanboys basically, they really fanboy over those people. I don't see them doing that over Caleb. However, for Benavidez, because of his influence of him coming from Arizona, I think there's a lot more casuals in Arizona who know more about Benavidez. So I mean, I definitely don't agree that this fight sells itself. Obviously not, right? We know that for sure. But I think Benavidez is going to have much more of a fan base going into this fight than Plant. I mean, I think Plant is from Tennessee, for fuck's sake, I think, right? So I'm not sure there's a lot of people that know. I mean, he is from
somewhere white and dumb. Somewhere
right.
White and dumb.
He lives here, and I guess people sort of kind of know him here. I mean, we know him because we're in the fucking boxing circle, but not because anything else. If this guy's walking down the mall here in Vegas, I don't think anybody's going to recognize him really. But not the case with Benavidez. So I think this is a great fight. I'm looking forward to this one too. Middleweights that should have or super middleweight, sorry, that should have fought a while back. We're finally getting it while they're still in their prime. I'm not sure if any belts are on the line. Not really that it matters at this point, but the fact that we're going to get to see this fight, I'm pretty excited about it. Still leaning towards Benavidez, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more fan base for him here than for Plant. And then Steven Espinosa needs to fucking hit the road already.
Wow, wild week. Let's move forward. Hey, a guy that we talk about in the mix with everybody else, Shakur Stevenson, earlier in the week and last week was scheduled to fight everybody else in the division, be a champion, move mountains, and was going to be signed by Bob to, take everyone out. Instead, he is fighting Tsuchiro Yoshino.
I gotta call you out. I got to call you out a little, Lee. The Plant that came into that press conference with braids, gold chains, Louis Vuitton fucking jackets. You'd be all over his shit.
I am the first one to say about, okay, let us rewind and we'll come back to you, Shakur. Let me just say this. I have been all over Caleb Plant and his wiggerness for quite some time.
Which was never there.
Never there. And now he's gone full tilt Floyd Mayweather weird, right? With you might as well have a matching leather tracksuit. I mean, you're right there.
Also, and he's from America, though. Caleb, Benavidez is American. So I don't know what music he listens to. I don't know if he came up on MTV or if he came up on fucking, the Spanish channel. I don't know which one it is. But to me, don't keep that same vibe through the whole fight. Don't fucking try to switch it up. Fight night, come out with the mariachi hat and the Mexican flag, and you clearly do not look like that guy. You don't. You came out in the press conference, like Lee said, looking, Lord, like you're from Team Mayweather than Team Chavez or Canelo or anything over on that side of the border. I just want to put that out there. He's either being fake as fuck, trying to dress like this and hold this bad boy image, or he's being fake as fuck on the other side. When it gets closer to the fight time, they're like, hey, you got to get more Mexicans to buy tickets, man. Start acting like you're from Mexico now. Hey, which one is it, Benavidez? Hold the same vibe through the whole fucking fight, though, because to me, you look pretty American in that press conference, bro. You look like all the other American kids that I see. Braids and cussing on the thing. Like, what the? Who is this guy? Who's this guy? We're supposed, because like you said, Caleb Plant tried doing that. And now he's playing victim. But when did Benavidez switch it up?
I'm going to start calling him Gator. Last night I was watching the other guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. Let's just start calling him Gator. He's got a gold, he's got the tracksuit, the helmet, hat, and a gold grill and a gold chain. Call me Gator. That's what he is. He's just playing the role. I don't look. I got to interview him and his family with Miguel at my side, and his wife as well. He's a very soft-spoken, and trust me, these are white Southern folk. They are white. They're whiter than my family, okay? And my family from Oklahoma is white. They're married to people like Skeeter, okay? This is white, bro. This is... So when he does this, oh, I just look bitchin' and Gucci. No, you don't. You look like a dipshit. You might as well wear a grill and start wearing a T-shirt that says, call me Gator.
Well, no, it was Benavides, bro.
Oh, I thought you were talking about...
No, it was Benavides.
I thought you were telling me that I wasn't on Caleb Plant hard enough.
No, you didn't. Yeah. All right, moving on. We missed one there.
Well, I don't follow Benavides close enough because he hasn't really registered. He hasn't fought anybody, Andrew. He hasn't.
I just want Benavides to keep the same energy. Seriously.
No, I hear your point, and I apologize for not picking up on that. I was trying to think of Gator in my head and Googling shit at the same time. As I'm producing the show on the fly, Andrew.
I hear you.
So, all right, let me talk about Benavides. First of all, I don't know what the fucking hype's about. That's number one. Number two, everybody's talked about, everybody's avoiding Benavides. Or is Benavides avoiding everybody? It works both ways, but I can look at his record and tell you it's pretty unimpressive. Same thing with Caleb Plant. These are two unimpressive fighters. Now, do I think that Benavides is a better fighter than Caleb Plant? I believe so. But to be perfectly honest, this is a I don't give a fuck fight. This is going to sell nothing. And this is why I think Steven Espinosa is so full of shit. His eyes aren't just brown, his hair is brown, and it's squeezing out of his brown, hairy ears. Okay? This fight is pointless. I would be shocked if it did more than a couple of 100,000 pay-per-view buys. Shocked.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. We know historically boxers beat punchers. Is Caleb Plant isn't he a better boxer?
He is a better boxer.
Yes, but not by that much. Not by that much. I think this is going to be one of the exceptions. I think, what's his name? Benavides. It's going to be a Margarito Cotto type of thing. Who can take whose punch better? I think that's what's going to happen. Both these guys are going to get hit, and I think Benavides can take Caleb's punch a lot better than Caleb can take Benavides. That's the route that I'm thinking. But yes, overall, I do think that Caleb is the better boxer, but kind of not by that much, really.
So what that means is Caleb's ahead on scorecards, knocked out in about the 11th round. Sort of Margarito Cotto, Taylor versus Chavez, right? He just couldn't last the 12 rounds.
Yeah. I just think that Caleb Plant is going to have to be much like Margarito and put concrete in his gloves. I'm just giving you my opinion. But geez, that this fight sells itself. Are you? And by the way, I'm calling out the entire internet community who make all those memes and all the posters for all the fights that don't really exist. Listen, how you guys let the Steven Espinosa thing slide, where you didn't do the little Steven Espinosa bubble on one side and the picture of the two fighters with the quote of "This fight sells itself." ... Yeah, right. Would have been a no-brainer in my universe if I was making comedy memes for boxing. And by the way, we'll go back to officially for this fight, we will officially go back to not revealing Showtime figures. We will never know exactly how many pay-per-views this sold. There's no, unless they had something remarkable. But now that they've got this disinformation thing where somebody gets a hold of numbers and go, they only sold 6,000 pay-per-views. And then Espinosa on Wednesday turns around on Twitter and goes, I don't know what they're talking about. We sold 3 million for that fight. Okay. You never release numbers. Remember, you said you don't want people to know numbers because you have to pay people, which again makes no sense. Please, Paramount, fire him, please. I'm really thinking of releasing the CEO's email address of Paramount and starting a campaign, maybe a petition, to fire Steven Espinosa. He is destroying Showtime's boxing. They could have done so much better. They should have taken over for HBO. Pathetic. Let's talk about Shakur Stevenson taking on Tsuchiro Yoshino. AI, would you take us into it? It appears that a boxing match between Shakur Stevenson and Tsuchiro Yoshino has been scheduled for April 8th at the Prudential Center in Newark. It's very up to date, Miguel. Shakur Stevens is an American professional boxer who competes in the featherweight division and is considered one of the sport's rising stars. Tsuchiro Yoshino is a Japanese professional boxer who has competed in the featherweight division. No other accolade listed. In boxing, fighters are often announced in advance and are subject to change based on a variety of factors. Good Lord. Including the fighter's schedules, injuries, and contractual agreements. The April 8th bout between Stevenson and Yoshino is a highly anticipated. Where did you get highly anticipated? Whoa. AI, you're showing your AI. Highly anticipated. Please add that to our list, Miguel. Highly anticipated. Should be right up there with hopeful. And is expected to attract a large audience. Did Steven Espinosa write this? What the fuck? Miguel, I start with you. First of all, nobody knows Chuck Yoshino. I'm just going to call him Chuck. Chuck Yoshino. And I guess we're giving him another tune-up. So I'm going to guess it doesn't rate on the old Chubb meter.
No, not at all. I mean, yes, it is great to see, a young star like Shakur back in the ring, and I'm gonna tune in, frankly, just because of that, just to see, where he's, advanced, where he's improved. This dude, Shuk Kino, isn't exactly the guy that we would go to and say, oh, hey, let's see, let's see where fucking Shakur lands, or how good Shakur is at lightweight now that he's gonna move to lightweight. It's not exactly the best measuring stick. It's really more so a type of kind of confidence builder at the weight class. I'm looking Yoshino up as we speak.
Oh my god!
Like he hasn't fought outside of Japan like ever.
Well, he fought Lancito right after the OJ trial.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh, I'm sorry, Masuki Ito. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Yeah, that was an Asian joke. Very insensitive.
But I'm gonna tune in, right? It's most likely gonna be on ESPN Plus, so of course I already got it. I'm gonna tune in to watch to see how he's looking. Like I said, he is not exactly the best measuring stick. This dude here that they're gonna stick him in there with, but they're gonna make it the main event or whatever it is, as they do. I'm gonna tune in because I want to see Shakur. Now, granted, it's not gonna be the top tier opponent, and these kind of fights tend to happen, when they start going into new weight classes or whatnot. Although these are just stepping stones. I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt and just say, okay, I'll give you a pass with this, kind of like a tune-up, whatever you want to call it, a keep me busy fight. But the next one, like, you better fucking fight a top dude in the next time around. So yeah, this is kind of just one of those keep me busy fights, pretty much.
Well, shucky ducky. First of all, please change your Wikipedia photo. You look very, very white, very Amerasian. It's just, and isn't Nakatani the name of the plaza from
Die Hard?
Die Hard?
Something like that. It
was Nakatomi. Forgive me. Again, racial insensitivity on my part, and I do apologize. Since I am in Monterey Park, I should be more careful. Andrew, Shakur Stevens' name was thrown into the mix with everybody in this division, including the champions. And here we are with yet again another Shakur Stevenson, who gives a fuck fight.
All right, this is 2 fights away from the Oscar Valdez showdown. That was a great fight for the boxing world. I know it wasn't hyped up as didn't get as much viewers as we thought it would, but Oscar Valdez is one of the best fighters in the sport. He went up against Shakur just a fight ago. So yes, they're giving him a break. His next big test looks like it's going to be the man that fought last night, Emmanuel Navarrete, which is a huge fight for both guys. So if they start working down that path of getting Stevenson ready for a Navarrete showdown, I'm willing to take a undefeated Japanese fighter at 16-0-12, and as a title defense. As long as we're being told that Navarrete is the potential showdown for Stevenson in the next fight here. which I think it is. I think Bob's working that fight up, especially how Navarrete looked. I know we'll talk about that later, but the way he looked last night, probably gave Bob more confidence in putting Stevenson in with him.
Well,
Well,
that'll
Andrew,
be.
and from what it seemed, I think they're gonna still try to work Navarrete and Valdez. I think it seemed as though that's the route that they're going. I don't know how much further down the line they anticipate maybe throwing one of those guys back, or Navarrete specifically, if it comes out with the win against Shakur. But it seemed as though they were going that direction and not with Shakur.
We're going to say hopeful.
Hopeful. Add it
That's
to
our
the
word of
list.
the day. Yes.
Hopeful is the word of the day. Eddie Hearn says Joshua versus Franklin is going to be a great fight, which, by the way, makes Dillian White the most pissed off person on the lashes out at haters. And when he means haters, let me help you out with a story I didn't run, which I just mean Dillian White, because Dillian White, I think, was promised Anthony Joshua in this fight. Dillian is pissed off and feels like toilet paper, which we all know that he was, and we've documented it on this show. But all right, so his first fight's going to be Joshua versus Franklin, Jermaine Franklin in Michigan, who's a contender from Michigan, promoted by Salida, who are basically the wonderful people that picked up, I think, pretty much all the MTK fighters. There must have been some kind of fire sale when MTK went the way of the dodo. All right, here's what he had to tell the DAZN boxing show. The haters go. Jermaine Franklin, oh, what a bad fight. Right. At the same time, those same fighters say that Jermaine Franklin won the fight against Dillian White by 3 or 4 rounds. But he didn't, bro. He did. Can we have a scoreboard discussion? I hate to quote Jim Rome here, but isn't it? And then he puts, fuck me. You can't have it both ways. So what? So he did win that fight. That was a great performance by Jermaine Franklin. Apparently, Anthony Joshua has no confidence. He's a shot fighter. He's finished. He's coming off those defeats and fights a guy that you said just beat Dillian White by 3 or 4 rounds. It still should be Dillian White. Tell me I'm wrong about this, Miguel. We watched that fight. We discussed that fight. Dillian White won that fight.
Yeah. In the record books, it's gonna go down as a majority decision. So at least one fucking judge had it, or no, it was a majority decision means two judges had it, for as a draw, right? So that's oh wait, hold on, no, majority decision. I'm getting this confused, but I'm looking at the fucking scorecard right now, and bottom line is, what's the name? Fucking Dillian White won. Now, Dillian White is, after that ass whooping that he received at the hands of Fury, and the very nice payday, by the way. I'm sure he's, not really that fast to get back in the ring, but he has already lost to Joshua, so it's not like him getting into a ring in the rematch against a guy who already beat his ass the way Fury did is necessarily foreign to him. The fact that he came out with a victory over Jermaine is obvious that he deserves that scrap, but I mean, they're gonna. I'm not sure if that's the kind of guy they want, or at least Eddie. I mean, is the kind of Franklin is the kind of guy that Eddie wants to put Joshua in yet. Suffering 2 defeats and the way he suffered them against Usyk is probably the route that they're going to go after here is going to be a confidence builder. So this is the reason they went with that. The fact that this motherfucker is coming off a loss, to White, yeah, they're going to go with that guy instead. So ultimately, this is going to be one of those confident boosters. So I can see why they went that direction. I can see why, what's his name, White would be pissed off as hell. But I mean, hey, we get it. We know what they're doing. We know what direction they're going with these next couple of fights here, because he's gonna need that confidence booster if he's gonna end up fighting 3 times a year, like he claimed he was gonna say. Joshua, I'm saying. This kind of irks me when they lash out at haters. There's always gonna be fucking haters, man. Just let it go. Just Jesus Christ, like you lashing out at them is basically showing them, that they're pissing you off, that their words are getting to you. He's not in the business to be.
Well, that would also indicate that they listen to the fans too.
Yeah,
which
there you go. Yeah.
They don't. Can we add Eddie Hearn to the Dillian White list of people who have raw dogged him?
Yeah. Shit, I mean, WBC, Matchroom, all that motherfuckers. Yeah.
Go ahead, Andrew.
I would absolutely say they do listen to the fans. They do listen to the chat rooms because that's who's buying tickets. And if your fight isn't hot, no one's going to buy your ticket. No one's going to watch. Well, you got to listen to that. You got to see that and move on it. So the fact that he's getting a backlash from signing this fight is yeah, I think he totally is interested in that because in my opinion, if boxing was covered like the other major sports, this signing would be one of the worst in boxing in sports history. They signed Anthony Joshua what 350 million, I believe, when they first did this contract with them. He hasn't paid back any of that. He's had some big fights where they sold good on tickets, but we know ticket sales is not making up $350 million. When they signed Anthony Joshua, they thought he was going to be the next Lennox Lewis, meaning dominate ticket sales in the UK, but be a crossover star in America. That his viewership in America was going to pay them bonus on what he was doing in his homeland. So it hasn't worked out. It's been, like I said, he's had like 3 comeback fights on the biggest contract at the time sports world had ever seen. You've had 3 comeback fights. This is a total fucking disaster. There's no way Eddie Hearn can put him in right now with anybody that he thinks has the chance of beating him. That's why Franklin was chosen. You guys, we don't know who the fuck Franklin is. I don't care about that one fight he had with Dillian White where he looked all right. He's being picked because he is the safest path to Joshua getting a W and maybe Eddie Hearn making some fucking money back on him facing maybe a Deontay Wilder or somebody that they can put on pay-per-view and try to make some serious money back on him. The DAZN thing was a total bust. This whole, we're going to give these fights for free. You guys only have to pay 1 membership thing and everything's free. That was a total fucking bust, or it was a lie. And then the Anthony Joshua signing itself was a bust. And to be honest with you, so was Triple G and so was Canelo. At the prices that they paid these men and what DAZN has gotten back from them, bust makes Eddie Hearn look like a dipshit, and that's why he hates the haters.
The fight sells itself, Andrew. The fight sells itself. AI, what does it mean that the fight sells itself? It is often used in context of boxing to suggest that a particular match is highly anticipated and expected to generate a lot of interest from fans and media. It implies that the fight is so appealing that it doesn't require much promotion or marketing effort to generate interest, as the interest and excitement around the bout will generate organically. The phrase is often used to describe high-profile fights, keywords, between top fighters or bouts that feature a compelling narrative. By the way, the 2 fights that I'm making jokes about they don't work here at all. Such as a grudge match or a long-awaited rematch. When a fight sells itself, it is often considered surefire success from financial and marketing perspectives. Steven Espinosa, pack your bags, as it is expected to generate significant revenue from ticket sales, pay-per-view purchases, and other sources of revenue. I liked AI again. Wow. AI, you are just Johnny on the spot with this stuff. Thank you.
Lennox Lewis was in his heyday. He was making $40 million a fight, 20 from each side of the pond, plus whatever sponsorships they had going into the fight. When Ricky Hatton was fighting in his heyday, he was making $40 million a fight, 20 from each side. He made more money than Mayweather did the night they fought. Okay, that's how big you can be when you come from the other side of the pond and you make it in America. Has Anthony Joshua even had a pay-per-view in America? Seriously, I don't think he has, right?
No. I mean, I think the only time he fought in America, I think, was when he lost to Ruiz, and that was not on pay-per-view.
This has been a total bust, man. It has been a total bust from the beginning. No, Eddie Hearn, he should really be, thankful that he got the position he did with DAZN, because it just has not worked out for them. $6 billion in the hole.
There you go. Moving forward, we have a Klitschko sighting. And Klitschko has stated that he is protests the inclusion of Russian athletes in the 2024 Olympics. AI, can I get your feedback on this first? Sure. Vladimir Klitschko is a former professional heavyweight boxer. He has reportedly protested the inclusion of Russian athletes in the 2024 Olympics. The specific context and reason for Klitschko's protests are not actually clear. Really? You don't know about the war, AI? In recent years, there have been controversies surrounding Russian athletes that are participating in international sporting events, particularly in the wake of the allegations of widespread doping and state-sponsored cheating. Still nothing about a war. In response to these allegations, many athletes, including Klitschko, have called for greater oversight and stricter penalties for those who violate anti-doping rules. It is possible that Klitschko is related to the controversy and expression of his concern of the integrity of the Olympic Games and the impact of cheating on athletes who participate. However, without much more context, it is not possible to say for certain why Klitschko is protesting the inclusion of Russian athletes. Well, I'm going to take a wild guess without pulling up the story to see what his comments are, AI, but I'm going to guess it's got to be about the war. You are the representative of the universal value of tolerance and peace. There you go. It's about the war. I tell you, Russians are Olympic champions in crimes against civilians. Yep, there you go. They have gold medals in deportation of children and rape of women. Wow. You cannot put your Olympic emblem on these cities because you will be an accomplice with the abominable war. Do not do this. Otherwise, you will betray the Olympic spirit. The world is watching you. History will judge you. Good luck with your decision. Wow. That was strong, Klitschko. AI, you suck. But you're not inaccurate, by the way. That's kind of historically, AI is correct.
How do you know AI isn't defining what's going on in the Ukraine as a war?
How do you know that AI isn't actually part of a Russian-China conspiracy and downplaying it?
I mean, we can't say that all the athletes are out of it, right?
Yeah, I know, but you can see what it's doing to. They're using the excuse on b-vol. You're our big Olympic boxer guy. You're a huge proponent of amateur boxing, being a former amateur boxer yourself. Is it really a boxing tournament without Russia, Andrew?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, it can. It will still carry on. Yes, there won't be too many guys out there missing the Russian kids that were supposed to compete in that year.
Well, they can take the time off to go rape. Let me see if I got this straight. They can go and rape and what were they doing? They're raping and doing something else.
Man,
like he's crazy. Like the stuff he said is crazy. To put that on actual athletes who literally are trained like they're veal in Russia to do one thing, either box or, pole vault, since the time they come out of the womb, right? They put little tiny boxing gloves on the little babies when they come out. They start cage fighting them inside their little,
Are they
Russian cells.
Is Klitschko still in the war though, or did he leave?
Oh yeah, no.
From him or nothing. He used to post like all the time of being on the front line. Lomachenko, the other fighter, I can't forget the other fighter's name, but they all seem to have left. It's really weird.
Well, there we go. Well, this will leave Russian athletes more time to deportation of children and rape of women. I mean, it's something they can do instead of the Olympics.
Wait, so is he saying he's for it or against it? What the fuck's going
on?
I don't.
It's kind of up in the air. Or is he jealous? Is he jealous?
He was protesting the inclusion of it, right? So it's like, okay, we're gonna protest them being included in the fucking Olympics. So that gives them more time to do all this shit outside of the fucking ring. Like, what, bro? How isn't it like comparably? Like, you want to compare the two fucking factors, like which is the lesser of two evil? Wouldn't it be better to just let them in the Olympics instead of doing what he's saying here?
Well, let's ask AI, shall we? Please. Maybe it can clarify. The statement is highly inflammatory and appears to be making a serious and unfounded accusation against a group of people and or a country. The phrase gold medal in deportation of children and rape of women implies that this group or country is the worst in the world at committing these crimes, which is a serious damaging claim. Ooh. Making false or baseless accusations of this nature is irresponsible and can cause harms to individuals and communities. It is important to carefully consider the veracity and credibility of the information before sharing it, and to avoid spreading false or harmful information. If there is evidence to support such serious accusations, it should be presented to the appropriate authorities and thoroughly investigated rather than making a blanket statement without proof. Thank you, AI, for being politically correct on our show, as I make jokes about Russian athletes actually working on their gold medals and deportation of women and rape of women. How many times am I going to stick that joke in there? Let's talk about this weekend's fight to wrap up this show. Let's start off with Arnold Barboza taking on Jose Pedraza, which I think, Miguel, this qualifies as a loser leaves top rank bout, right? This is one of those, somebody's going to go here. And sadly, I believe it's finally going to be Jose Pedraza once and for all. It was, like they said in the pre-show, Pedraza fighting right up to the level of his opponents and still not being able to get over the hill. It was theorized by Dre. If they call him Dre again, I don't know if even Andre Ward is okay with them calling him Dre. It looks like it actually feels like they kick him when they go, Dre, what do you think? Listen, white guy, stop calling me Dre. Like he wants to say it, and then Tim. Yeah, go ahead.
Timothy Bradley.
Timothy Bradley has gone completely off the rail. By the way, he doesn't even move his head anymore. He stares at the camera, and his eyes just roll around his head into the direction of the person he's looking at. It's Timothy might need to have a CT scan to see if there's any head damage. I'm just saying it, and I'm only alleging it. And he is a vegan, and that could have a lot to do with it as well. So I'll start with you, Miguel. It was a boring fight. It was.
I thought it was entertaining. I watched it, and I was looking.
You're a diehard. Okay, can we qualify? You're a diehard in the group.
Well, I like to consider myself that, but I mean, there's always going to be somebody who's going to be even more diehard than me. So, but I would like to think of myself as that. I was expecting, I mean, a better performance out of Barboza. Yes, Pedraza was a great test, and we thought, okay, well, Pedraza's gonna he's gonna test Barboza. If Barboza is able to come out of this with a victory, granted it was a unanimous decision, so it wasn't like it was. And looking at the end of these fighters at the end of the fight, it looked a lot more closer than really the judges had it scored. But regardless, they all had it for Barboza, and as did I. But when we were watching this, me and my pops were watching this, we are like, oh shit, Pedraza is going to be a very good test. Because mind you, prior to this, Pedraza was supposed to fight against Teofimo before that fight fell through, and they ended up putting Sandro in there with Teofimo. So Pedraza was like, nope, one fight away from fighting a top fucking dude. His last fight in Teofimo, and he has been fighting Barboza, who, mind you, Barboza is basically doing this like boo thing where he's like chasing Teofimo. He's going to his fights, whatnot, and trying to start shit because he wants a fight. So what better way to, Barboza can they show Teofimo that he's the kind of opponent that he should fight than to take out somebody like Pedraza, who was supposed to be Teofimo's opponent. So this fight made sense to me, and I'm looking forward to this. When I first realized they were going to be on the undercard, I was like, "Oh shit, this fight's going to be awesome!" And I was not disappointed. Yeah, these guys put down. I mean, it looked like Pedraza in the latter half of the fight was having success when he switched to southpaw. It's almost like Barboza wasn't expecting it, even though after the fight he did mention that they trained with southpaws during fight camp, so it wasn't like they were completely caught by surprise. He even said it himself. He was expecting Pedraza to switch to southpaw earlier in the fight. It just didn't happen that way, and that seemed to catch him off guard for some reason, because it looked like Pedraza was coming back towards the latter half of that fight, and it looked a little shaky at first. I was like, oh shit, this fight's kind of slipping away from Barboza, but he was able to keep his composure and keep that fight in his fucking favor towards the end of the fight. And I thoroughly enjoyed this fight, and it seemed, when I was watching this fight, me and my pops were talking about it, when Pedraza switched to southpaw, it seemed as though he was able to land a lot easier on Barboza for some fucking reason, right? Even though he said he was prepping for it. Regardless, he got himself the victory, which is good, right? I think he's still undefeated, right? I don't think he's been defeated yet. So they gave him some, fucking paper belts and WBO Intercontinental or something that he had or whatever already. So nonetheless, hopefully this sets up some sort of showdown with Teofimo down the line in the near future. I'm hoping. The way they're making it seem, the narrative is that Teofimo is trying to duck Barboza Whether or not that's the case, I don't know, but that's the way it's looking. Of course, as much as Barboza is chasing Teofimo, I'm hoping that's the fight that gets made next, because Barboza is very much a worthy opponent for somebody like Teofimo, and he showed it by by the article's title here, outworking Pedraza. Um, and where Pedraza stands after this one, I feel bad for him, man, because his last few fights haven't gone that well, especially his his fight with Jose Ramirez. So I wouldn't say this fight, like you said, mentioned earlier, Lee, that this fight is like a loser leaves town. It's really more so if Pedraza leaves, then he's the one, or loses. I mean, he's the one that ends up leaving town. So I'm not sure where he goes from here, but all up and onward for Barboza.
Somebody will beat the crap out of him again. Bob will keep him around for somebody to kick around. I mean, that's what he does. He just fights right up to the level of the guy he's fighting. Before I turn it over to you, Andrew, I want context for the new fans. So Miguel with Pop's, sometimes we get Pop's review. What was Pop's review of the fight?
Well, pretty much what we had concluded, like what I was saying earlier, the fight, it seemed as though the fight got a lot harder for Barboza once Pedraza switched to southpaw. But we thought, like at first the way he was landing on fucking Pedraza,
did he enjoy it?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I mean, we know these guys' names and we're familiar with them, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, they thoroughly enjoyed this one. Yeah, granted, it wasn't the best fight. It was a lot. It seemed like more of a slugfest than anything, but regardless, it was very entertaining.
Okay, so Pops would be old school diehard. Miguel is basically new school diehard. And now I'm going to turn it over to Andrew, who is a jaded diehard. Now, for those of you who don't understand AI, would you explain that, please? Jaded means feeling bored, disillusioned, or lack of enthusiasm or interest, often because of having too much of something or having been disappointed too often. It can also refer to the feeling of wariness or cynicism after having experiencing something negative or unpleasant. Thank you, AI. That explains Andrew's perspective on boxing exceptionally well. Andrew, give me the jaded version.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's time to put Pedraza to rest, at least as far as the main event is considered. Co-main event, main event. He's no longer that. He has 5 losses. Basically, every time they step him up, Davis, Lomachenko, Cepeda, Ramirez, and now Barboza, who was undefeated when he faced him. He even has a draw versus Comey. So he's just really never lived up to the potential that Top Rank thought he was going to be. With that being said, Barboza, I think, was supposed to look a little bit better than what he actually did. This is now Barboza's 4th decision in a row. It seems like as they picked up his competition, he is no longer knocking his opponents out. He only has 2 knockouts in the last 5 years. That's going to really hurt him because, technically he did not look like a master boxer. This is going to affect him as he gets higher up in the rankings. So I'm going to say Barboza takes over. What's his name? Gosh darn it. I already forgot you, dude. Pedraza.
Pedraza.
Don't worry, Bob's forgot his name already, too.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, who's that fucking guy?
Yeah. Don't I have any more Puerto Ricans that can go the distance? Jesus. What the fuck was he wearing in the ring? I don't like to get involved in that shit, but who fucking trusts him? AI, would you give us the uninfluenced statement on the fight? The statement, Arnold Barboza outworks Jose Pedraza for unanimous decision win, refers to a boxing match between Arnold Barboza and Jose Pedraza. The outcome of the match was that Barboza won by unanimous decision, meaning that all 3 judges on the scorecard were in favor of Barboza. The phrase outwork suggests Barboza was more active and effective in the ring, and he was able to outperform Pedraza over the course of the bout. Thanks, AI. I am telling you, AI will be writing for Boxing Scene in no time. I'll give you the entertainment perspective. Didn't hold my attention. I mean, yeah, when I was making the comments to Miguel around midway through the fight, I just figured it was going to be a continued onslaught. I would agree that the final round showed a little more activity out of Pedraza towards the end, but it's certainly not like the main event. Holy crap. Let's talk about the main event on Friday night, shall we? Emmanuel Navarrete gets dropped, rallies back, and then beats the living tar out of Liam Wilson, which, by the way, beat the tar out of him. Like, he had to beat this dude down to stop him to capture his third WBO title in 3 different weight classes. This was, in my mind, the first candidate for fight of the year. I enjoyed the fight thoroughly. I enjoyed the outcome. I like Navarrete getting dropped because he got rocked. I mean, I didn't ever think the dude was rockable until that fight. And he looked like he was in bad position, came back, and then beat this dude down like he was owed money. I mean, those final 3 rounds are, man, he got serious fast after that knockdown. Up until that point, it literally like play it to the bone, right? Like, he just came in fat and gooey. There was talk by Liam Wilson that they fixed the weight scales, that Navarrete was overweight, yada, 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 right? Okay, let's jump to the fight. I guarantee when he put him down, he was probably thinking to himself, yeah, I wish I hadn't have made those comments, because he's going to have to, somebody was going to call him out on it. Well, we don't have to worry about it. I loved it. I loved the fight. I thought it was certainly a contender from an entertainment perspective of fight of the year, or at least to be in the discussion until what happened on Saturday. But let's start with this fight. Andrew, what did you think about Navarrete dusting off his ass and getting back into this thing?
Well, I agree with you on fight of the year candidate. It's early, but definitely this name will be there at the end of the year. It's always great, Lee. I mean, not only was Navarrete dropped, he was hurt multiple times. Like, this looked like it was not going to end well for Navarrete, and just his will, his power, the champion in him, it all came out, man. The guy goes relentless to Liam Wilson's body. Some of the best body work I've seen put in when he was hurt. He knew what to do to get himself back into this fight. He absolutely destroys the young man to the body, basically the left hook, really. And you've seen him dropping his hands, and then he started bringing it upstairs. It was this fight had me screaming. I think it's one of the first. Yeah, it's only been a handful of times, like you said, jaded, Lee, and on this fight, I was cheering, rooting, screaming at the end.
It was a wow fight. It was,
because we're Navarrete fans. We're Navarrete fans in here. Look, I'm telling you, my son has seen a lot of defeats in his young boxing career. He's seen a lot of our fighters go down, and I really thought this was another one where he was going to see another upset. I couldn't fucking believe it. You're talking a 14-1 underdog here, you guys. Was about to knock out my guy. I was like, dude, are you serious? And then just the body work, the way he brought it back, the finish, everything played out. Look, Liam Williams, is that his name? Liam Williams?
Wilson. Liam Wilson. The white dude from Australia with the extraordinarily hot wife.
Yeah. You bring him. Yeah, they all do. You bring him back. Great fight. For his first fight out of the country, his first fight against a established champion like what Navarrete is. That was an excellent showing from him. If I'm Bob Arum, I sign him in a heartbeat. You give him to the American trainers and you see what happens. All the way around, this was an excellent fight. I do like the Valdez showdown that's coming. I do remember when Miguel brought that up at the end of the night. They did have Valdez step in the ring and talk to Navarrete. So that is another huge fight for the division, lightweight division, and then possibly setting up a huge showdown with Navarrete and Stevenson at the end of this year. I don't know when they're going to reschedule the Valdez Navarrete fight, but definitely watching that. I don't give a damn if it's on pay-per-view or if it's on ESPN Plus. I'll purchase them both.
Let us now turn to New School Die Hard. What'd you think?
Well, yeah, we too were screaming here. Although we actually thought that had Navarrete, it seemed a couple of times that Navarrete was kind of forgetting about the body. When he started going down to the body, and we're like, oh shit, it's hurting him. And then he switched back up to the head. It's like, no, go back to the body. So we were yelling here as well. He might have been able to take Wilson out earlier, even if he continued that. But regardless, he's still going to be a headhunter, right? Because he lands those fucking shots, and ultimately that did do in Wilson as well. This was, I believe, his Navarrete's chance or first for debut, I guess, at 130, right? So this was they put him against this dude who is probably like a solid 130 guy, and a guy who's going to really test Navarrete's chin at that weight class. And boy, was it tested. That's what we thought when he got dropped. We're like, oh shit, this is a different weight class, bro. Yeah, granted, it's only 4 pounds, but this is a whole different fucking monster, right? So we thought he was gonna go down. We legitimately thought that Navarrete was gonna get upset. And the first thing that came to mind, and even the commentators mentioned it as well, was his body. It's like, dude, you took your fucking training camp too lightly. He said it countless times in previous fights how he doesn't really pay attention to his diet. He pretty much eats whatever the fuck he wants to eat and still trains the way he trains. Granted, maybe at this age he's able to get away with it, but later on in his career, he probably won't be able to get away with it, and it's going to bite him in the ass. And it damn near did on Friday night. So he got tested at 130. Granted, it wasn't with the top type of dudes, right? Obviously, this is just a test. This is getting your toes dipped in the water, so to speak, and it damn near was a disaster. So what's his name? Wilson only has 11 fights, 7 KOs out of those. So they did well in finding a guy who's going to be able to get in there with him and mix it up with Navarrete, and it was very fun to the fucking very end. As a matter of fact, I actually had to leave my house, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna miss this fight, and the fight ended right before I had to leave the house. So I was like, okay, phew, good for Navarrete. That was fun. So this puts Navarrete up there with they mentioned it earlier during the broadcast with Morales and Barrera and 3 weight division champions, Mexican 3 weight division champs. Granted, they're all WBO belts, and we all know WBO belts are top rank belts, but nonetheless, he's done it in 3 different weight classes, and he's done so against some pretty good competition. So he's legit. Hopefully, we can get to see him in more top fights at 130 with more names and whatnot. But man, it was disaster avoided last Friday with that. I hope that scares him into place. I hope that scares him, stiff, so to speak. He's gonna be able to look back at this and be like, damn, this one almost got away from me. I should probably pay more attention to my diet and my training and not just fucking weighing it the way he's been weighing it this whole time. But nonetheless, very much exciting fight, and I would definitely rank that up. I mean, it's early in the year, but most definitely a fight of the year candidate right off the bat.
I'm going to give the fight an 8 out of 10. Miguel, what say you?
I think I'm gonna have to agree. Yeah, 8 out of 10. Actually, no. I'm gonna go with 9 because of the drama. Like
Yeah.
and one of the reasons why I love professional prize fighting is when you watch shows or movies or some shit like that, the drama, the roller coaster ride, right? The emotional roller coaster is manufactured. That's the point, right? That's what's supposed to make you do when you go watch movies. That's supposed to do that, but it's manufactured. And professional prize fighting, when shit isn't fixed, it's supposed to. It's natural. It's organic, right? So when we see this shit, when we see your guy get dropped, or I'm gonna say your guy because obviously I'm of Mexican descent, so we're gonna be cheering Navarrete. So when your guy that you're rooting for gets dropped, you're like, fuck! It clocks you in the belly and kind of knocks the wind out of you, and then he comes back to win. Holy shit! That sort of nothing else does it for me in sports, which is why I'm a fight fan. So I would say 9 because of the fucking drama.
Andrew?
Absolutely agree with Miguel. I'm not going to go 10 because it wasn't a unified or undisputed match. If it was, it would have been a 10 out of 10. This is a straight one of the most exciting fights we've seen in a while.
It was entertaining. It just was straight up entertaining. It was compelling.
The champ gets knocked down by the underdog. The underdog's family's in they played the family card. They showed his wife and kids there cheering him on. He hurts him again later on in the fight. Like 2 rounds later, he hurts Navarrete again, where Navarrete actually goes down and pulls Liam with him, which I thought saved him from possibly another knockdown at the end of that round. So there was so much drama going in, and then the comeback, the absolute comeback, the combination punching, the body work. One of the first fights, look, Junior's already watched it twice. It's just one of the first fights where I'm always trying to show him when you get your opponent to the ropes, you can't forget, I want him hard on the body. That's what Navarrete does, man. He takes him to the ropes and starts giving him that business. It was that old Chavez-like business, It was a shot to the blast to him from the past for me there. Yeah, that's what had me cheering at the end of that fight. That's what boxing used to be for us when we used to watch Chavez get in that ring.
To wrap it up, AI, what did you think? The article, Emmanuel Navarrete dropped hard, rallies to stop Liam Wilson in the 9th, capture the WBO title, refers to a boxing match between Emmanuel Navarrete and Liam Wilson. The outcome of the match was that Navarrete won by stopping Wilson in the 9th round to capture the WBO title. The phrase dropped hard likely means that Navarrete was knocked down or hit hard during the fight. Good job. The phrase rallies to stop Liam Wilson suggests that Navarrete was able to recover from the knockdown and eventually win the fight. Capturing a world championship title in boxing is a significant achievement and can have a major impact on a fighter's career. The WBO is one of 4 major organizations in professional boxing, along with the WBA, IBF, and WBC. And winning a title from any of these organizations is considered a major accomplishment. The outcome of this particular fight suggests that Navarrete was able to overcome adversity and rally to win the fight and the WBO title. Thank you, AI, for giving us a politically correct answer. That turns us over. Yeah, Andrew?
Another thing I got to throw in there, Lee. I got to throw this in there.
Go for it.
It's the time that I seen my love for the sport go into my son. Look, we were watching it together. I didn't think ESPN did a good job of just calling out Navarrete on the body work. He's showing, I'm guarantee you, Emmanuel would have been like, this body work is going to pay off in a few rounds. This body work. And I kept telling Junior that. I kept showing him. I swear to God, I know I text you guys, but I swear the round before it happened, Junior, I was like, look at his arms. His arms are nowhere where they were. It's because of the body. I keep telling him this. Junior looks at me and goes, Dad, I'll bet you $1 he knocks him out in the next round. I said, get out of here. Get him, knock him out. All right. I said, I got you. I'll give you $1 if it happens. Dude, not only does it happen, but he drops him like 10 seconds into the round. Like it was, and then my son, just the way he got excited over calling that fight right, could see that it was, as long as you keep showing your boy the love, you don't force it on him. You show it through yourself, your own actions, it'll eventually get to him. And that night, I finally found like I was getting somewhere with them, because a lot of the other times, he's asleep. I look over, damn it, he fell asleep. The main event's not even over, but not on this one. And actually, this morning, he watched the fight again. So thank you, Navarrete.
There you go. Moving on to Saturday night, the co-main and the main were the actual draws. AI, will you take us through this? The article, Alicia Baumgardner drops Meckel, whatever the hell her name is, twice. Mickeldy, twice. Mickeled, whatever. Twice, wins decision to become undisputed, and she actually called out Michaela Mayer after the fight. Refers to a boxing match between Alicia Baumgardner and Nickelhead, or Nickelback. Who cares? Never going to hear from that woman again. The outcome of the match was that Baumgardner won by decision, dropping Mickelhead twice during the fight. The phrase becomes undisputed suggests that Baumgardner won all major titles in that weight class, making her the undisputed champion. The phrase calls out Michaela Mayer suggests Baumgardner wants to challenge Michaela Mayer, which she's only done towards the end of this week. So they must be talking about a substantial sum of money for her to get off the whatever it was she was talking about before about not giving her a shot to. Now she's all about Michaela. I don't think there's anybody left for her to fight. Miguel, this was a one-sided affair that did not hold my interest. I give it a 2 because they were at least chicks and there might have been a boob flash.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. It didn't hold your interest with Baumgardner's caramel cakes flashing all over the.
Well, no, I didn't get any of it plopped out. I mean, I didn't have any, no.
I mean,
it's a 2. This was a 2.
I'd give a little more credit that. Mind you, this is not the same significance undisputed as it is for the men, but I mean, it's something. This Baumgardner is the undisputed champion in that weight class. So when we see, and damn it, I don't want to get into that subject per se, but it really irks me when I hear shit like people like Chris Mannix talk about, the men really, they have something to learn with these fucking women, with these undefeated or undisputed title fights and unification fights and all this shit. It's like, bro, damn well there's a lot more fucking money involved and shit, and there's a lot more at risk with a men's fucking fight. So it's like it always irks me when they start going in that direction and shit. It's like, all right, you're just kissing ass. You're trying to be a fucking white knight, dude. Relax, chill with your simp shit. But it irks me when I hear shit like that, especially from somebody like Mannix. But anyway, it is regardless, undisputed champion as Baumgartner is, and when she's in the ring and she shows up to fight, sometimes upsets happen, especially when it comes to the chicks when they get tired and they start throwing and winging punches and getting a little sloppy and shit like that. Anything could happen. So it was entertaining, at least at the very beginning. I actually thought that Baumgartner was going to be able to take McClacher out because it looked like she was going to, but ultimately she hung in there, and that was pretty impressive. I mean, she's got some fucking pop. Baumgartner's got some pop, and her opponent, I can't pronounce her name, was able to take it. Not only was she dropped a couple of times, but she was hurt later on in the fight as well, and she still hung on, and that was fun to watch. Yeah, granted, it was a one-sided ass whooping, but it was really good to see Baumgartner not get discouraged. The fact that she was able to drop her and not put her away. Her corner was great. That fucking I think it was Harrison, right? I think it was Tony Harrison in her corner. That was like, bitch, fucking relax. And he was giving her all these fucking hard ass instructions, like, don't be getting lazy. And she was getting lazy towards the middle part of the fight. So the fact that she had Tony Harrison in her corner, like really egging her on and telling her, like, don't let this shit go. And it's almost like she caught her second wind in the second half of the fight and damn near finished her opponent in the latter half. So I enjoyed it. I want to give it more credit than just 2. I'm going to say maybe like a solid 5. It was fun. Yes, it was a one-sided ass whooping ultimately. So, but we're talking about the undisputed champion at that weight class. I'm hoping, I know she said it countless times already, but I'm hoping she gives Michaela a rematch because I want to see that fight. It was a close fight nonetheless, and it wasn't like it was at any point looked like Baumgartner was just whooping fucking what's her name's ass. I mean, yeah, she was kind of schooling her a little bit, but Michaela was in the fight the entire time. I would like to see a rematch. I know that once the fight ended and then soon after, Baumgartner was asked whether or not she would give Michaela a rematch, and she's like, hell no. I'm like, come on now, we just got done praising these women for fucking unifying belts, and now she's like, no, fuck a rematch, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's the biggest match you can make at your weight class. Quit fucking playing. You want a big payday, just give Michaela the rematch. Come on.
Hopefully Baumgartner realized the money difference in between the two ladies and now wants Michaela back. That's what Michaela's saying, basically. Look, the fight was interesting, but I didn't like the class drop. In both fights, it seemed like there was a significant class drop in the opponents. Did not make me feel like I was watching an undisputed match, especially in the main event. That was very sloppy, but we'll get to that. As far as Baumgartner, yeah, I thought, and I did think, even though she came out with the same outfit, she tweaked it a little. It wasn't as loose, I would say, on the top side this time. More power to her. She went out there and she just performed. She still had her legs free, but it did seem a little tighter upstairs on this fight. As far as the match itself, look, there's only one fight we want to see. And matter of fact, I want to see it 2 more times, and that's her and Michaela. They're the only 2 fighters that have any market in the division. They already did it once. We know it's a great fight. We know these 2 behind the microphone, they're going to sell this fight. So let's go ahead and get this rematch on. And if Michaela wins it, darn it, I want to do it again. So that's where both of them are in their career. This needs to be their Ali versus Foreman moment. Yes.
Andrew, quick question. The comment about the drop in competition, right, in class, in their opponents, isn't this kind of normal? Like, there aren't really that many, many top star women. So it's like they really had no other choice. If they weren't going to fight each other, anybody else that they fought is going to be a drop in competition, I would say, right? Because, like, I mean, realistically, there are fewer women in boxing than there are in men in boxing. So the fewer that they are, the fewer top women that are going to be there, and they can only fight each other so many times, I guess. But the fact that they weren't fighting each other, I'm talking about Baumgartner and fucking Michaela, like, anybody else they're going to fight is going to be a drop in competition, is it not?
Yes, and that's why I think they need to see each other 2 more times, make their money at their peak, and then move on with their careers. They have found a gold mine. Let's mine it. You know what I'm saying? Let's not don't go, oh, we'll come back to this. Let's start digging over here. There ain't shit over there. You already found your gold. It's right here. We're gonna go and dig it out. That's what they need to do, because I don't know if I'm going to tune into another Baumgartner fight. Let me see. I'll hit record on it. Don't know if I'm taking out my Saturday to watch you versus,
Right. My question would be John Wick 4 or Baumgartner highlights, Andrew.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe even John Wick 3, 2, or 1 and Baumgartner highlights. In my case, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. But I mean, it's all relative.
And seriously, during those 2 fights, let's make it an all-woman card and get your best potential females that can take on the winner. Let's put them on the undercard so then we get to know them and then their next 2 fights before leaning into the winner of Baumgartner versus Michaela.
All right. That'll take us to the main. Oh, Andrew, scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, higher than the 2, Lee. Higher than the 2, but I hear you. It wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't totally impressed, especially coming off the Navarrete fight. Come on, you guys. It was like.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. All right, and I was watching Fedor at the same time. There was a lot. There was a lot going on, and there was UFC at the same time.
He win?
No, he lost.
Hell no,
Bad. Oh my God, he got crushed.
Yeah. It was
like a beer can. In fact, I think he laid down. I think he just went in there to not get knocked out.
Maybe. I mean, it was a non-event, really.
He came in really heavy by his standards. He looked slow. It was bad. Now, the other fights that were on the card, and this was primetime CBS, the first fight was very entertaining. The second fight was very entertaining. I mean, 2/3 of that card were, and again, note to Steven Espinosa, what the fuck is that doing on CBS on a Saturday night and you can't scrape together 2 decent fighters? 3 fights. All you got to do is put on 3 decent fights and you can steal Saturday night.
But whatever. Listen, the highlight that I seen come over my feed was him just laying down the gloves. And I was like, this can't be good.
Yeah, no, not good.
Yeah. I mean, he should have put him down a long time ago, pretty much. And at this point, it's just really, exactly. They were doing, and then this was like their quote unquote heavyweight title fight. It was more like, all right, we're going to give you one last fucking crack. If it's over, it's over. And if you win, you're going to retire anyway. But he should have dropped those gloves years ago.
It was an excuse to get all the old fighters into the arena.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It was basically like a Hall of Fame in the fucking seats. So, yeah.
Yeah, and boy, do they all look old. Oh, my God. Boy, they all looked old, which is really scary.
Liddell's stomach. Chuck was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm fucking fat. What do you want me to do?"
Yeah, pretty much. He kind of just chuckled at the. No.
And oddly, for as much coke as that motherfucker has done, he actually looked the best of all of them. Well, maybe not Frank Shamrock, but like his face didn't look as wrinkled as like fucking Couture's and Henderson and shit. And
Henderson looked like he aged 100 years somehow.
Yeah, I was like, God, good lord. But
I feel like I just interviewed him like yesterday, but no. You're not looking good. Let's go to the main event of the evening and discussions for, fight of the year, which is what they were talking about it like it was a Rocky fight. And I hate to break it to anybody. It was Erica Cruz that caused her own headbutt. It wasn't Serrano's fault. Like Serrano's head was there, but it was Erica who brought it in. It was her fault. I watched it a couple of times. AI, take it away. Well, the story, Amanda Serrano beats Erica Cruz in Bloody War, becomes undisputed. And Serrano Taylor already signed, which needs to be discussed, refers to a boxing match between Amanda Serrano and Erica Cruz. The outcome of the match was that Serrano won and became undisputed. The phrase bloody war suggests that the match was very intense and a physical battle. The statement Serrano and Taylor are already signed indicates that a fight between Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor has already been signed and agreed upon. Becoming an undisputed champion in boxing is a significant accomplishment, Miguel, and demonstrates fighters' dominance in their weight class. In order to become undisputed, a fighter must hold all 4 belts, WBA, IBF, WBC, and WBO. The outcome of this particular fight suggests Serrano was able to win a tough match against Cruz, becoming the undisputed champion in her weight class. The announcement that she will fight Katie Taylor is already, and that it's already signed, suggests that Serrano's next big challenge as she looks to defend her undisputed status. I will start with you. I'll rate it. It was entertaining as all get out. Not as good as Navarrete. Sorry. I mean, they tried to sell it like it was a better fight. Wasn't. And it was only interesting because Cruz gushed blood fantastically. There was blood on the trainers that belonged to Cruz, and I mean Serrano's own corner. That's how much blood there was. There was so much blood, it was ridiculous. It was almost like cartoony, but it was compelling. Cruz fought her guts out. She couldn't even lift her arms after the fight. So credit to her that, they kept doing It's a Rocky movie. Shut up, bro. It's not. It's not. It's not. That would indicate that she had a shot. She had a shot early on until she ran out of gas, and Serrano got real serious real fast towards the later rounds and became Amanda Serrano. So I will rate this a 7 out of 10. Miguel, take it away.
No, I definitely will not give it a 7 out of 10. Yes, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. Yes, it was a one-sided ass whooping as well. As they say in the wrestling business, Cruz got a little color on her with that blood, so that did make things
Are
a
you
little bit more
suggesting
fun
she
to watch.
bladed?
No, I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just saying the blood
She did
brings
it to
drama.
herself. She
You
did
know, a
do it to
little.
herself.
She did. Blood, brings a little bit of extra drama to a fight. So yeah, it's definitely um, more, I guess, aesthetically pleasing for us, diehard bloodthirsty fans when they see blood fucking dripping and whatnot. Yeah, it kind of blows that it wasn't due to a punch; it was more so a headbutt. But to some degree, actually mostly, I guess, it was really Erica's own fucking fault. She would come in with her head like that, like she's Timothy Bradley in this bitch, and then throw these winging ass punches. I swear for the life of her, she could not throw a straight punch to save her fucking life. Even with those white ass punches, she still was landing on Serrano. So I don't know what the fuck Serrano's defense coach is fucking helping her with, but not much because those damn punches were still landing. And there was so much blood we couldn't even tell if it was Serrano who got her, who was also cut, or was all Erica's until towards at the end of the rounds when they would clean off her face, and I was like, oh yeah, it was all Erica's. So look, she became the undisputed champion in whatever fuck weight class they're in, featherweight, I think they said, for the nth time, and they make a big deal of Serrano being another Puerto Rican winning titles, yada yada, and being the first woman to do so, and that's fantastic and that's great. Look, she did it regardless, but we talked about it before. The level of competition is just not there. That's unfortunately that's just the reality of things. And she can go and collect as many belts as she wants, and they're gonna mean whatever they mean for the weight class for women's boxing. Um, Bottom line is she's the undisputed champion, so she's fun to watch. She's fun to watch. She does get hit a lot, right, and she does make fights probably harder for herself than she probably should, and that gave Erica a little bit more of a chance than she was probably expecting, and the fight was probably harder for Serrano than she thought. I thought that Erica was just gonna be able to walk through fucking Serrano's punches, and there was a point where like Serrano hurt her bad, and I was like, oh shit, like no more than a couple of minutes that I text you leave that I was like, no, she'll be fine, she can go through the distance. She gets rocked, and then she ends up like doing the chicken dance a little bit. I'm like, oh shit, she's gonna get dropped. She hung in there, right? I don't think Erica knows how to fucking clinch. So yeah, everything was like, god damn it, what the fuck are they training? What are they doing in training camp? Are they not being taught like what to do when you're hurt? Are they not being taught how to throw straight punches? Like what the shit? Or is it just that they're not executing in the ring and their coaches are like, what the fuck are you doing? There was a point in Erica Cruz's corner when they're like wiping, the blood from her face.
Yeah, and she kept stopping him.
Yeah, she's like, get the
She
fuck
was
out of
like
here. It's
into it. She was really psychotically into it.
she was, and I'm like, look, bitch, damn it, this is not. Stop being a chick. Stop being a chick. It's like stop trying to control shit. Start trying to be like, no, don't tell me what the fuck to do. Like, no, god damn it, we're your coaches.
Wow.
Let us clean your fucking face when we get back in there, so make sure it doesn't get in your way, and you're not constantly like pawing at it. It's like stop being. Let us fucking take over. This is our job. You hired us for this shit, so let us clean off that goddamn cut. Which even still wasn't that great. They did an okay job of it, but it was primarily her wiping the goddamn blood off her face. Nonetheless, I'm not going to give her.
We're just going to let the one go where Miguel just said women are trying to. Wow. Wow. Wait, hold on. For all four of the women who listen to this show, at Fight Fiend Migs. All right, that's all you got to remember. Feel free to hit him up on social media and let him know that. And by the way, he'll just use that as confirmation that you are all controlling bitches in his world.
She couldn't have let it go. Like, quit being such a goddamn control freak. Fuck, let it go. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're telling you the shit in the corner. They're doing it for a reason. They're gonna have a different perspective as you. Let them do their job. Let them clean the goddamn cut. And besides that, I don't know what other instructions they were giving her, because clearly she was basically doing the Vanderlei Silva wide punches. And again, Serrano was getting landed by them. So I see why Cruz would keep throwing them as long as they keep fucking landing. I would not give this a 7. Yes, it was fun to watch. Of course, it's
entertaining.
It was entertaining. It was more of a fucking tough man or tough woman competition, really, than anything. But it was fun because punches were being thrown. There was blood splattering all over the goddamn place. So I definitely made it fun. I would probably still give it a fucking I say a 5. I would still give it a 5.
A 5.
Yeah.
A 5. That's by the way, New School Diehard gave it a 5. The Entertainment Guy gave it wow. And by the way,
Jeez.
no joke about how they tried to sell this as Fight of the Year.
Yes.
No joke.
They
They sold this like we were watching the War of Wars.
Yes.
And
Like it was a competitive fight the whole time. It was not.
look at the guys that are calling the fight, though, is all I got to point at them. Listen, okay, about the blood, the only thing that I seen that I thought that her corner was doing wrong, the fucking guy was wiping her head and then wiping her eyes. And it was like, you dick, if you were sticking Vaseline and blood on her eyelashes, you might be preventing her from seeing, or you might be making her eyelashes stick just that split second where she's not seeing the punches coming as good as if you weren't wiping her fucking face with the same towel that you're wiping her cut with. It was insane. Never did her corner apply fucking water on her head and then wash her face. They would just come in, oh, here, let me wipe your face. Now all that blood is all over the towel. Oh, it's in your eye. It's in your other eye. And she was like, dude, what the fuck? You're putting all of that back into my eye. That's what I noticed the amateur move on her corner kept doing. I would have liked it if they gave her a shower with the water bottle. It was like they didn't even have enough water. Seriously, I didn't even see that girl take that many drinks of water in that corner. I was legit asking my family, did they not bring water? What did they bring? Like 2 bottles of water to the fucking corner, and they're like, dude, it's all we got. You put this on her head.
You had your bottle.
Yeah.
Your ration of water.
I hate to say this because it will be deemed racially insensitive. Miguel, you can verify for me after I'm done. How many times have we seen a trained in Mexico, third worldish, corner of the world fighter come in and their corner is just an abomination?
Yes.
They got fucking Corona.
Yeah, like a Corona bottle filled with water. Yeah, we filled it up in the sink, bro. You're good.
Or like the Corona tin cans that they use for fucking beer as their beer bottle. The fucking.
At least in Mexico, you can actually have like coconut water, and they got open scoring. They're at least far more advanced than what happened in this corner.
Where is the ointment that stops bleeding? How about that one?
Quick stop. Where was the quick stop?
Dude, so and then about the fight, listen, once again, me and Miguel have been talking about it all morning, the gap. If Erica Cruz, if that's the style that makes you successful in women's sports, that style takes you to the top? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Look, where was Serrano's instructions? How about a jab, step back, uppercut? How about that one? How about you end the night with the counter punch? You know she's only going to throw 3, and then she's going to have her head.
Dude, it's third world training. What do you expect? She's trained to go in and fight like men.
Serrano might have steroid training, but she doesn't have third world training. She's over
there.
there.
I meant Cruz. I mean, Cruz did the same thing. She fought like a guy from Mexico.
Mexicans fight a lot better. No, they fight a lot better than what Cruz was showing. Cruz, that was amateur, man. That was amateur hour. She didn't know what she was fucking doing. Anybody with any technical skill background knocks her the fuck out. Seriously, she wouldn't last. You want to compare men to women's sports? That style would never last in a man's competition. They know how to fight way better than, I'm just going to lower my head and blah, 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 blah. Here comes 3 punches. Serrano, her corner failed her in getting a perfect knockout victory on that night. She should have been able to pick Cruz apart and stop her, because Cruz doesn't look when she's punching. Her head is always down. Pivot, counter, step back, counter. There's so many things she could have done. She wasn't doing. She's hitting fire with fire. And I got to agree with Miguel. It just started looking sloppy. It started losing interest. The blood, the constant, back and forth, but the punches aren't really doing anything. I got over it really quick. I would like to see her and Katie Taylor. Let's move the fuck on. Go fight that rematch. Maybe do it twice. If Serrano can pull out a victory, let's do it again, because you are the 2 best women in that division. Let's watch the fight.
There you go. Give me a scale of 1 to 10, Andrew.
I gotta agree with Miguel. I'm going about 5. I'll go 5.
It's not fight of the year. Are you saying that these guys don't know what they're talking about?
Like I said, they kind of showed their skill level. One, Cruz's, the way she fought showed her skill level, and then Serrano, her corner, not being able to beat that style. That was a fucking joke. That really was a joke that they went to a decision with a person that really doesn't pick her head up.
Well, that'll do it for this week's Fight Net Radio. I'm going to just do a little added bonus from our newest reporter, AI, and I'm putting the proof up on the screen. I actually typed in, what is Fight Net Radio? Are you guys ready for this? We got rated. Fight Net Radio is a sports radio show that focuses on boxing. The show provides in-depth analysis, sure, interviews with fighters occasionally, and trainers almost never, and discussions about the latest events and trends in the sport of boxing. We do that a lot. The show is typically hosted by boxing experts. Okay, kinda. Who have deep understanding of the sport and provide insightful commentary on fights and fighters. AI doesn't know us very well. Listeners of Fight Net Radio can expect to hear knowledgeable and passionate discussions, that part I agree with, about the world of boxing, including previews and reviews of the biggest fights, interviews with the biggest names in the sport, and analysis of the latest developments and trends in boxing. Well, we rate on AI. I don't know if I agree with its assessment of what we are. I didn't see anything about vulgarity, political incorrectness. That we're occasionally humorous would have been nice, but all right. If it wants to, if somebody actually Googled us and this is what it comes back as AI wise, you would think we'd get far more credentials than we actually do based on this review. But all right, whatever. That's Fight Net Radio. That's Miguel Antonio Barragan. That is Andrew Lapachet. My name is Lee Honish. We appreciate all of you. We will be back next Sunday to record you yet again another fun-filled show.